just a hack. He's just an absolute hack. And he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to Hack City. DeLeone and Sean Anderson, two former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. We're here today to talk about the 2023 NFL Draft, some of our best and worst things that we liked, as well as the FCS players that were selected and the ones that were actually surprised that weren't selected. Could you have been more abrupt about opening that? What did you open? At least share with the audience.
Don't worry about it, pal.
No, what did you open? Share with the audience.
There's no need to. I thought I hit the wrong key. I guess Command D is mute on StreamYard. So,
what'd you open? Share with the audience. That's a
don't worry about what I opened, dog. You're doing a great open.
We're 4 days. No. Technically 3 days. The day of this release, away from the first annual Hack City company retreat. Sean, are you excited?
I'm pretty juiced up. You tantalized me with my death in California.
The sandwich I told you about last night.
Yeah, I think that might be the breaking point for me. So Joe's worried about me sleeping on his couch and for some reason not dying on his couch.
Well, so like I've told Sean kind of like, oh, we might do X, Y, and Z. But the one thing that you've hung on to is the sandwich place by my apartment called Fat Sal's that's open till 2 a.m. So for context, for anyone who doesn't know what Fat Sal's is, there's some in New York, there's some in LA. It's a sandwich place. They've got burgers, wraps, normal sandwiches, but then they have these fat sandwiches that are just the most vile, disgusting combinations of food. But when you're drunk, it sounds like the best idea ever. You eat it and then you wake up feeling extremely nauseated and terrible. Like I'm talking hot Cheetos, mozzarella sticks, fried mac and cheese. Basically, that's kind of what it is. And I told Sean about this last night because I went and picked up a Philly cheesesteak from there. And I was on the way back when he called me. We're not doing that. But you hung on to that. I knew that was the one thing that you were going to hang on to. We can go there every night for dinner. We don't need to go anywhere else. We don't need to go anywhere nice. We don't need to forget going anywhere for Cinco de Mayo and getting Mexican food. We're just going to go to Fat Sal's every night, and then you're going to destroy my toilet.
Well, I got to see. Yeah, that's a concern also, is that Joe's toilet's in his bedroom. So I'm going to have to bring my disaster prevention kit with me. And then we'll see. I can't bring a lighter on a plane, so I'll have to pick up a Bic while I'm there. Oh shoot! But yeah, I Cinco de Mayo. I'd like to see what Joe has in store for what his best place would be for that.
I actually don't know. I admittedly don't. West Coast seafood. I don't.
You're right by the ocean. I gotta see what's going on there.
Let me do some digging on like do you want to go to like a nice seafood place? Because I gotta like actually find. Because I don't want to wear for a lot of seafood. You wear a t-shirt, dude. Most of the time, well, because like rich people in LA, you know that they're rich in LA because they're wearing like a Gucci t-shirt or an Armani Exchange t-shirt in a nice restaurant. So I don't think anyone's gonna give you a hard time if you wear a t-shirt.
Okay, all right. I'm starting to like this.
It works. But to the point of Cinco de Mayo, though, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know I didn't go out for Cinco de Mayo last year. I didn't go out Cinco de Mayo the year before that.
Way to live it up. Enjoy
They were on weekdays. This is the first time it's been on a Friday.
I've gone out for Cinco de Mayo the last 3 years.
Okay, well, you're a degenerate. And some of us like to be able to show up.
You've got some degeneracy that you like to hide for some reason. I know that you have some degeneracy, and I'm going to unlock that this weekend. That's what I'm looking forward to. I want my old buddy Joe back. Oh, my dad did say you look good now. No, he said that you've been looking good and fit.
Tell your dad to worry about himself.
Oh, okay. I told him.
I'm just kidding. Thank you, Chris. I
told him I thought your head looked really big on your super skinny pencil neck, and you have bad glasses. But he defended you.
Well, I'm just kidding. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. By the way, one side point before we get into the draft today. I posted a lot of stuff over the course of the draft on the Hack City channel, and we had one video that did really well, or I had one video that did really well. But some of the chirps that I got from Cowboys fans on there, I also got a lot of chirps on Twitter. We're going to get to that. One of the chirps sounded like something that you would have said to me, and I actually got a huge laugh out of it. they like completely criticized my take on the Mozzie Smith pick, and then their final point was get some thicker glasses. And I was like, honestly, I like chirps like that. I like it when people say stupid things like that.
That's great. That's a great thing to say. I mean, because that's what you'd hear at the high school lunch table. If you start losing in a debate, you start attacking character, or you start attacking appearance, and then you stray away from the debate. It's a great deflection. I love that.
I've honestly said, and I know this is going to open up a terrible door for Colin, but honestly, if you chirp me like that, I think that's more entertaining. Like, I think that's fun.
Way more. It's so fun.
If you call me stupid for like my take, and you think I like, oh, you've never played football, like that's annoying. It's you being desperate to dunk on me. That's not going to work. The glasses thing's funny. I like stuff like that. Get a laugh at us. Before we continue on with this video, I just want to tell you folks about an exciting new partnership that we have with this channel with Underdog Fantasy. Ever since I joined, I've been having so much fun. There are so many different exciting games that make watching games during the offseason more exciting. I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but it has made it way more entertaining since I found Underdog Fantasy. And my favorite game to play so far, which I think you should try out, is Pick'em. It is so easy to play. Just pick higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile apps. Pick between 2 and 5 players to fill out your Pick'em slip, get every pick right, and take home some cold, hard cash. Use code HACK, H-A-C-K, HACK, like the name of this channel. Use code HACK to get your first deposit doubled up to $100 by Underdog. Go sign up. You won't regret it. You're going to have a blast. Check out Underdog Fantasy. I also want to tell you folks about our other recurring sponsor that we have on this channel, that being BetOnline, betonline.ag, which has all the updated odds, news, and anything for sports betting. It's my go-to source for when I want to be betting specifically on games. I love betting on college basketball or the NBA. Especially, again, during the offseason, always looking for more fun ways to be focused in on some of these other sports. It's betonline.ag and use promo code BELIEVE50. It's promo code BELIEVE50 to get 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Like that. All right, Sean, 2023 NFL Draft. Whirlwind of a draft. It was a weird draft, admittedly. And I want to each give a best and worst from the weekend. So moment, pick, whatever it might have been, that just overall from the draft that we want to bring up. So I want to start with you first. Your best from the 2023 NFL Draft.
My best, and I had a lot of bests. I had as much fun watching this draft. It was probably the most fun draft for me to watch. It was exciting, especially in the first round. My first one is Devin Witherspoon going to Seattle at number 5. People could say it's a reach to take a corner that high. I know we've had examples in the past that have not panned out. I mean, the CJ Henderson experience is tough. The Jeff Okudah experience, and now he's in Atlanta. Let's see if he can get a second chance. It's tough. I don't really like taking corners that high, but I like Seattle taking a risk to try to get their bread and butter back. That's what I like. I like that. Signing him, who is a thumper and great in coverage, it makes sense to me. Give me something that makes sense. The NFL has things that make sense. The Steelers will always have a really good running back, right? That's something in the NFL that makes sense. Seattle having dominant physical defensive backs makes sense to me because it's successful. And I'm not saying they're going to have Legion of Boom too with Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant and now Devin Witherspoon, but they're trying. And that's a good thing to aim for. Why not? Right. And people are going to say 5 is too high. It might have been, but show me the second corner that would have done what he would do. He wouldn't. And I do get a little freaked out about the Keanu Neal factor, where as soon as he came into the league, all the rules changed and his value became not valued. His closing down the middle, that hurt him because that was his biggest strength, was his physicality. But now you have DBs that have to wait a beat before touching you. You have DBs that are getting flagged more intensively for pass interference or unnecessary roughness, and it's all around across the defense. So I know there are drawbacks from drafting a physical cornerback, but the risk is enough for me to applaud it. Go ahead, get your guy. Get who I thought was one of the best defensive players in the draft. I saw how he played up against Michigan. He played up, and we could talk about the Michigan wide receivers all they want. How, who are they? It doesn't matter. He played up in a big moment for Illinois, and he impressed me, and he became a my guy. Hate that term. Hate it. Will always hate it. But he became a my guy from that game on. So I love that pick, and I love that he went to Seattle, and he's not going to be wasted at some beta team.
Yeah, I agree with you. This was overall, Seattle had a fantastic draft. I think their first round was
very good.
Really exciting. It was really
Charbonnet
exciting.
Confused me a little bit.
No. I think that's a great
little
pick because
bit.
Charbonnet's not going to be the primary back though.
He's not.
That counterpunch of that is a smash and dash.
I wanted to take Walker early in fantasy, so that's going to hurt me.
I don't think that's a hurting like the pick that's going to hurt you though. I don't think that's going to hurt Kenneth Walker. That's going to help him. That you don't need to run him into the ground. Trust me, that is going to help that team immensely, and especially the run game. But I would have thought that the Seahawks would have gone with a Julius Brents, who's the 6'4" corner from Kansas State, or even Christian Gonzalez, who is 6'1", 6'2", a lot of length. He ends up going to the Patriots. Devin Witherspoon doesn't fit the prototype that we're used to seeing with the Seattle Seahawks, but he fits the mentality. And you hit the nail on the head there.
I'll take that.
Yeah, the physicality, blows up screens, great tackler, sticky in man coverage. I think that this guy fits exactly with what they look for in defensive backs. And they killed it by also getting Jackson Smith and Jigba. But yeah, I second this.
It's a great pick.
Right. Both of these picks are going to set them up to have a really suffocating defense and then a explosive offense that, look, if you have an average quarterback, Geno Smith is the pinnacle of being average. He didn't start until this past year for the longest time.
I'm glad you said that.
He is good enough that with DK, with Tyler Lockett, and now JSN in the slot, that offense is going to move well. You don't need him to do that much. It is so strange to see the Seahawks and the Lions produce success because their quarterback play it's nothing sexy. But as we've seen, you can get to the playoffs and you can win playoff games if you surround them with the right stuff. And the other aspect of this too is Seattle, I think at some point can go and figure out the quarterback position. If they do want to draft somebody next year, they can trade up and go grab somebody because they've built this roster well enough. But in general, I like the move.
I liked it. I think Derek Hall's a good player. I wish they had gotten another offensive. I wish they had gotten another offensive lineman because it just does. They need another. They need another guy that could be a day one starter. 3-name guy from Minnesota, John Michael Schmidt or John Marco Pierre, whatever his name is.
Michael Schmidt.
There we go.
John Marco Pierre.
I think he's a French cook. It doesn't matter.
One of them is a pasty white man. The other one is
John Michael Schmitz. George Michael
went
Bluth,
to the Giants, by the way.
It's a good pick. He's going to start day one for you. You know what? But it's so easy for somebody like me to say, "Oh, I wish they got someone else," when I should just applaud that they got a bunch of good players and they did a good job. And in Seattle, good for you.
My best, Sean, I want to share this with you. So I tweeted about this, and this is the funniest phone call answering by a prospect I have ever seen. So Brad Robbins, who completely bald, it's got the goofy mustache going on, Michigan punter, was drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals on day 3. And the way that he answers the phone when head coach Zach Taylor calls him is so goddamn funny. I'm going to play it for everybody.
Hello?
Brad, this is Zach Taylor at the Bengals.
Oh, Zach Taylor, how's it going?
I'm doing great, man. You want to come be a Bengal?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Oh, Zach Taylor, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on, man? You want to meet up or something like that? What's up?
Well, somebody commented this. He picked up the phone like it was his bank calling.
Yeah.
Like somebody was calling him to check in on his bank account at Bank of America. That is the funniest. And the other thing that I think with this too is that anyone who knows punters, and I've spent way too much time around punters and hundreds of different punters in my time in college and high school. They all act like this. They're so annoyingly aloof, and this is the only way that I would expect it. But it's different than pitchers because pitchers are head cases, and I compare pitchers to kickers more. Punters are just like, oh, okay, it's fourth down. We're going to go punt. And this is exactly how he answered the phone.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit it high, and you guys better make the tackle because I'll run after him, but I'm not hitting him. Hey, I got a strong leg. Someone's going to call eventually. They're like maybe almost like surfers. I don't know. It's so odd.
Surfers is better. I think surfers is a good comp.
It's like, hey, how are the waves today? They're good? Okay, cool. Are the waves bad? Okay, cool. I'll go out anyways. That's what punters are. It's just when things click like that and you get a punter answer from a punter, that's fantastic. When Quinnen Williams blesses himself during an interview, that's perfect. Give me that. All of it. When it clicks and you're leaning towards the special teams stuff, I get it, and that's fine. This one was a gem. I'm glad you brought that one up. How was the football dads this year? I didn't see many.
Admittedly, I was distracted. We did end up
I was so distracted.
Well, it's also you don't get as much exposure that we did get the Lucas Van Ness's dad ass tapping Lucas Van Ness's girlfriend.
Okay.
Which was not a great moment. That was the only one I can remember. We also got Anthony Richardson's 13-year-old brother, who sounds like a 30-year-old grown man with a mortgage. I guess you could count that as a dad because he sounded like a dad the way that he was.
Well, I think he has a neck tattoo as well.
I legitimately, until it was pointed, until I actually rewatched the video, I thought that was like his older, shorter brother. That doesn't look like a 13-year-old. That does not look like a 13-year-old. That's a grown man.
Here's the thing. I've got the itch ever since we saw DeAndre Swift's dad. I've had the itch really bad for more football dads.
Wait. Oh, man, I don't remember DeAndre Swift's dad. I remember Mekhi Becton's dad.
Hold on. Oh, yes. He was very good.
And Cesar Ruiz's dad as well. The Michigan center that went to the Saints a few years ago. That was another really good one. No, we got to be better about that, man. At some point, we got to be better about that.
Hold on. You're going to remember this, and it's going to piss you off because he's the best. DeAndre Swift's dad is the number one. He is my gold standard.
Are you going to share it on the screen?
I just sent it to you in a message. I should have shared it.
What?
Your text message.
Oh my God, your radio's understandings and capability. Actually, your broadcasting capability understanding.
You want me to hit present?
Yeah, that is. Wait, make sure. Making sure I didn't text you something questionable. You can't see it. Well, thanks for derailing the show. His dad's big as shit, and he's got a big beard. It's funny. Sean, let's get to our worst though. We have an agreement on our worst from this draft. You wrote down Mazi Smith. I want to take this a step further. I tweeted about this, and I also did a YouTube video for this, and also I cut that YouTube video for a short. Cowboys fans, I pointed out that your draft class stinks. It is a really not a good draft class. It is one of the worst draft classes out of all of the draft classes.
Late Deuce Vaughn might be a steal. Very late Deuce. Other than that, I'm not thrilled.
Yes. I made this statement, and some of them were like, yeah, we know it's bad class, and I respect those people. But those that were trying to go to bat with me, going to war with me over this, you guys really need to take a look in the mirror. This is a senile old man picking for you, these picks that Jerry Jones made. These are not good picks. So Mazi Smith was an enormous reach at the top of at the back end of the first round.
Incredible reach.
A second-round pick that is not even potentially a 3-down defensive tackle you drafted in the back end of the first round with Michael Mayer on the board. Stupid pick. Michael Shoemaker, who they took in the second round, was a day 3 pick on most people's boards, including mine.
Yeah, you didn't want the next Jason Witten, and pardon me for praising a Notre Dame guy, but the film showed it. When the draft film was being cut between the two, hey, do you want this guy to be another Cowboys legend? Okay, he's probably not going to be that. But do you want this guy who's going to be kind of a little bit better than Dalton Schultz? Yeah, I'd like that.
The other thing too, and I made this point. I said that wouldn't you want the next Jason Witten? And some people their pushback was Jason Witten wouldn't work in the modern in the NFL. The hell he
yes,
wouldn't.
He would. Yes, he would.
Any tight end that is a dump off, consistent receiver with good hands and good play strength, any team.
Brent Selleck would work in this NFL.
It's everyone thinks that Dalton Kincaid is this. I hate it.
Here's what I don't like about Mazi Smith is that all throughout the draft coverage, all I'm hearing about, oh, this guy's great. This guy's got great long arms. Everybody had long arms this year. That was their key term that they want. Super long arms. That's what I heard. But okay. A lot of praise from the draft analysts. And then when Mazi Smith was chosen, it wasn't all praise. It wasn't. Maybe you would have Louis Riddick throwing in a little bit of a downside, like what he needs to work on. Mazi Smith's was, hey, how much can he play for you? And whatever, he's a player. He's our age. I'm not trying to, they're Big Cat has a great line about college athletes. They're just kids, right? That's a great way to approach it. But now in the NFL, and I called you over a month ago because I saw someone on Twitter posting Mazi Smith film. I didn't like it. I didn't like it for a first round grade. I didn't like it for a second round grade. And my stance on defensive tackles is unless you have the next Aaron Donald, or if you have Jalen Carter. Okay, fine. First round. After that, get him in the 5th round if you want a space eater. These guys are so useless. They're all strong. They can all hold their own. And if something happens, they can only get pushed back 3 yards, which is what happens on average for defensive tackles in the NFL. It's so silly to take a not stellar interior defensive lineman in the first round. I didn't like when Javon Kinlaw was drafted. I didn't like who did the Panthers draft. Derek White? Not Derek White.
Oh, Derek Brown.
Derek Brown.
Derek Brown's good though.
He's okay.
Mazi Smith's not Derek Brown.
No, he's not. He's not. His feet when he and I know Michigan runs, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent here, Joe, but Michigan's defense, they did not run all right, we're going to explode into your chest type defense on the defensive line. They did all right, we're going to get in our athletic position, we're going to grab you, and then we're going to see what's going on with the play, with the defensive line. That's something that happens in college football. Mm-hmm. Some defensive linemen are patient. We're going to grab, we're going to shed, we're going to fill the hole. When Mazi Smith was taking on double teams, his super wide stance, which what this tweet had in it, how he keeps his feet moving on. No, it's collapsed. He gets collapsed when a tackle comes down on him. He gets collapsed when a guard comes down on him. It's not what you want from a space eater. Space eaters need to stay wide. He doesn't stay wide enough for me. So, and he's not fast enough to get consistent pressure to up the middle. So what do I have here? What do we have?
My other biggest issue with this, though, is that you lost in the playoffs. You got so far. You lost in the playoffs to the 49ers. And how many points did they score in that game? It was terribly low. I don't even remember off the top of my head, but it was less than 20 points, was it not? My whole point here is Dalton Schultz is gone. Who is your starting tight end? Who are your starting receivers outside of CeeDee Lamb? Like, what are we working with? This is not a good offense. Dak is struggling. It is not a good offense.
Yeah, it was 19-12.
You scored 12 points in a playoff game, and you didn't want to draft a tight end. You drafted a tight end in the 2nd round that's not going to be that much of a contributor. That is a rotational tight end that you drafted. I legitimately do not know who the starting tight end for the Dallas Cowboys is since Dalton Schultz.
I don't like that tight end. You might as well have taken Tucker Kraft.
They also... I would have taken Tucker
in
Kraft.
That game, Dak 23 for 37, 206, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. And I know, and Joe, we can't fly over this because the Dallas Cowboy fans will say it. The 49ers defense was white hot at this point. So I'm going to let...
And Tony Pollard got hurt.
Pollard got hurt, but Zeke 10 for 26, no touchdowns. Pollard 6 for 22. CeeDee Lamb had 10 catches, 117 yards. He had half the receiving yards. But other than that, Schultz 5 for 27, Noah Brown, another tight end, 2 for 21. T.Y. Hilton 1 for 15. He was their 4th leading receiver. It's not, and I don't know what we do. Are we still rolling with the Michael Gallup experiment? Because I love Michael Gallup. I think Michael Gallup is super fun. But that's your number 2? You let Amari Cooper go, and then you put up 12 points in the game?
Cooks, but
Oh, they got Brandon Cooks. Awesome.
I don't think they needed to go after a receiver, but
Neither
really
do I.
think
Something.
When you score 12 points in a playoff game, you have to go offense. You have to boost your offense with an early running back pick, with a tight end when you have available. I really hate this draft. But to continue some of these picks, DeMarvin Overshown, I like that one for his value late in the third round. He's a very athletic, rangy linebacker who's raw, former safety. I think that one works. I think you can make some comparisons between him and Jalen Smith. You can get that out of him. Viliami Fihoko from San Jose State is one of those darling picks that everyone, the whole process has been saying, watch out for this guy. He's a fun player. A little early for me, but I think that's a decent value for a rotational edge rusher. Asim Richards is not going to start. They don't need a rotational tackle. I don't really get that. They don't need, I guess it doesn't hurt to get depth, but that early for me, for that specific guy, not a fan of. This one caused quite the stir. Eric Scott Jr., this pissed a bunch of people off because I hated this pick. This is a UDFA. I got his 40 time wrong because apparently he pulled his quad during his pro day, and I admit that I was wrong on that number. But that's a UDFA. It's not a draftable player. I do like the Deuce Vaughn pick, though. I will say that you can get very creative with Deuce Vaughn, and I think it's an awesome moment that he was picked by his dad, quite literally, who is a member of the scouting department, and they let him make the phone call and all that.
It was nice. I think Deuce Vaughn can give you 3-4 touchdowns next year, maybe 5. If
I think more than that.
Coming out of the backfield, third down guy, go ahead, do it. I'm happy with that. Joe, a little bit of I just thought of this. Would you want to do a very quick Homer segment where we just we'll talk about our own teams?
I love it when Sean, you do this where we have show notes and then you just throw in a random wrench. Yes.
Well, I'm getting fired up. I'm getting fired up.
All right.
The Giants.
All right. Give me your thoughts on the Falcons draft. Bijan in the first round is a joke.
Okay. I don't know about that.
It's a terrible pick.
He's widely regarded as one of the most talented players in the draft. I understand why it's a risk. The Falcons have so many holes. Why would you not fill other holes with that?
Bingo!
Why would you go get a running back when Tyler Algier just gave you 1,000 yards?
You just gave the good reasoning.
Very solid, and then Cordero Patterson's a great threat out of the backfield.
You just gave the counter argument.
They have 3 great running backs that I was excited for next year with Algier, Huntley, and Patterson. Cool with that. If Bijan Robinson is as dynamic as he can be, I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm not going to be. I will be optimistic, and I have to be. At this point,
Sean,
I have to be.
Sean,
they're not going to win games next year.
Exactly. Don't draft running backs in the top 10 if you're not going to win football games. It is a waste of a pick.
Here's the thing: I don't care if they win games next year because we don't have the quarterback of the future on the team right now. Desmond Ritter's not the quarterback.
Then don't draft a running back.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to take Will Levis. I'm going to take Caleb Williams or Drake May next year. That's what I'm going to do. I'll sell the farm for one of those guys. I don't care.
As a fan of the Giants and watching what has happened with Saquon Barkley, by the time you have a winning roster,
you guys made the playoffs last year.
You're going to be renegotiating with Bijan, and then you're not going to
2 years. We're in the playoffs in 2 years. We're a threat in the playoffs in 2 years.
Actually, in that division, it does suck.
The division sucks.
It does suck. So there is a possibility. But I am much more afraid of the Panthers with what they have done. And now they have their quarterback. I'm much more afraid of that.
I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm not.
Dude, he is going to run for 1,500 yards next season and 15 touchdowns, and you're going to win 7 games.
I hope so.
That is the most loser mentality.
We win less.
It is a New York Giants mentality. You know what
I hope we win less.
The best part about this is, do you remember when I said that Matt Ryan is you guys are going down the Eli Manning path with Matt Ryan?
Oh, we did.
Do you remember that? You are doing that right now as we speak.
Here's the thing. I think that during that time, Atlanta still has more players. So I think in 2 years,
Giants.
I think in 2 years, they've always played close in the recent games. It always comes out of the fourth quarter. I think in 2 years, they're a genuine threat to the NFC. I think with one of those rookie quarterbacks, they're a genuine threat. I'm cool with Bergeron. Still wish we took
I liked Bergeron. Bergeron's a really good. That guy's going to start at guard right away.
Would you rather have him start at guard, or would you rather have Drew Dahlman at center Bergeron at guard,
He's
Drew
not gonna play
Dahlman, Matt
center.
Hennessy at center, or take the three name kid from Minnesota,
John Michael Schmitz.
Who would have been a day one starter at center, and then figure out the guard position. That's kind of where I'm drawn. But if Bergeron, I'm fine with Bergeron. Zach Harrison, okay.
Raw, he'll work into the rotation.
I hope so. They need to work in the rotation. I love Clark
Wait,
Phillips.
you know who I compared? You know who I compared Zach Harrison to? Oh my god, I'm blanking on his name again. I was on a Falcons live stream.
Oh, were you with the Falcoholic guys? I saw.
I was on the.
I have some thoughts about them. They're either too generous or not generous enough.
What, for not having you
just
on?
Just their Twitters. No. Just their tweets. I'm too deep on Twitter.
Who was the Eagles edge rusher that they had during their Super Bowl run that came out of Alabama that was really highly recruited? He wasn't like elite, but he was good enough. Oh my god, this is gonna bug the hell out of me.
Brandon Graham was not that. It was not.
It's not Brandon Graham. Oh my god. This is gonna bug the hell.
I know it's not Trent Cole because Trent Cole's way before that.
Right.
They had Fletcher Cox on the line. They had.
Wait, I can tell you right now. I'm pulling up the roster.
It's gonna kill me also. Sweat?
Maybe. Yes, Josh Sweat. Yeah,
Josh Sweat.
So
if he's Josh Sweat, I'm happy.
I compared this circumstantially to Josh Sweat because they're very similar in the sense where actually Sweat maybe didn't go to Alabama. Josh Sweat was so highly recruited, was this 5-star kid. There were all these expectations, and he stunk in college. And then for the few years with Philadelphia, he was really good. He was a really important contributor.
He was solid. He was there when you needed him to be there.
Yeah, I think Zach Harrison can be that because Zach Harrison was supposed to be, oh my God, this is the next Chase Young. Never lived up to that. Not even close. Was a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah.
I like that pick too. I like Clark Phillips also. Clark Phillips is going to be his day one starter in the slot.
I think he's so jumpy. If he can be like Mike Hilton in Cincinnati, I'm thrilled because I love Mike Hilton. He has made a huge fan out of me professionally. So I like Clark Phillips. He plays intensely.
And then the rest of this draft, any other final thoughts?
Not really. I want to hear your Giants rundown.
Deonte Banks, where they took... Actually, here's my opening thought on this.
Okay.
Their first 3 picks in rounds 1 through 3 are all guys that were brought up as players worth drafting at pick number 24. The fact that they pulled out with all 3 of them,
fair.
And they were all brought up, is very significant. I love the draft class, and this is a non-biased opinion. It's one of the few times, just like last year, where I'm like, wow, this is a really foundation-building draft class. Deonte Banks is a really good athlete. He's got a lot of upside for the position. I think he fits exactly with what we know that Wink Martindale likes. Kind of comparable to Marlon Humphrey. I think he could have that type of an impact. John Michael Schmitz is your day one starter at center this upcoming season. The dude is so consistent. He had the highest floor out of all of the centers. I would have liked Ricky Stromberg, but I still think this is a really well-rounded pick.
I like Schmitz more. And I know no one's going to believe me that I say I like Schmitz more where I don't know. I can't remember his name, 3 name. It happens. But he's giving me a little bit of Frank Ragnow vibes. I like him.
Really?
Yeah. Day one starter, impact player.
Okay. Jalen Hyatt as the additional receiver who is a great deep threat. I think that's awesome value. This could have been their 2nd-round pick. This could have been their 1st-round pick. So to get all those guys, admittedly, I don't know crap about Trey Hawkins III, Jordan Riley, or Jervarius Owens. Those guys mean nothing to me. Eric Gray is a nice rotational running back that can be a full-time starter if something happens with Saquon.
Well, you took a DT late, which I love, and I think you improved your team in the draft significantly and early. I also liked, it doesn't come often, but Brian Boldinger did a whole video on Banks and how he performed against Ohio State, which if you got that guy giving you a little bit of a film breakdown, and I know he selects his clips and does all that, but I don't know. I respect his word, maybe a little bit too much. I think Banks is a gamer. I think he's very solid.
Talking about these FCS players, Sean, that were drafted, because this is originally an FCS football podcast. Cody Mauch to the Bucks, I think, is a fantastic fit. They need interior offensive lineman. Cody Mauch is going to be a day one starter for them. Marte Mapu, dude, is a sneaky pick that happened for the New England Patriots. That's such a Patriots pick.
It's exactly what it is.
He is going to be a box safety for them, and he moves so freaking well. He is such a good athlete. He should have been invited to the combine. He was so fun at the Senior Bowl. I freaking love that pick. And then of the more notable selections, Tucker Kraft being a Green Bay Packer is so freaking awesome. And I said this on the day 2 recap show I did with Ryan. I think that Tucker Kraft is going to outperform Luke Musgrave, and it reminds me of what happened with the Baltimore Ravens when they took Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews. And Mark Andrews is the better tight end of the two.
I can see that. The Packers are so dumb. But I respect their consistency for, still not taking an offensive player in the first round, at least with their first pick in the first round. It makes me happy that they won't do it for Aaron Rodgers. They're not going to do it for Jordan Love. Why would you? But here's the thing. I think a lot of people are getting a little bit sapped and suckered into Cody Mauch to the Bucks. The Bucks have a very good offensive line, and Cody Mauch is a great player, and I'm happy about it. And I think he's going to be a good NFL player. The only thing that concerns me, especially with the analysis of the pick, I think is a good fit. I think they coach offensive line really well. They take FCS players and they make them into Super Bowl champions and starters. That 2020 championship with Tom Brady, I think there were like 2 JMU guys, or a JMU guy and an ODU guy. They're not all P5 5-star guys that are going there and playing offensive line for them. So I think they got a good coach and a good system. I think the people losing their minds about this pick is because Ryan Jensen has the same type of hair as Cody Mauch. So because Ryan Jensen is a super mean, super fiery, very flashy, very good player, they think, oh, look at this. We got Ryan Jensen Jr., who's going to play the same and has the same build. And, no, they don't have the same build. They're not going to play the same. That's not how offensive linemen work. You hope it works like that. But even Trey Smith and Tyron Smith don't play the exact same way. Similar.
Do they still have Shaq Mason?
I believe so.
He might play. Mauch could also play center. I don't know where they're going to play.
Here's the thing. I just know where I could just tell where people's heads are at with the Mauch to the Buccaneers thing, and it's nitpicky, and I know it's nitpicky to be. I'm not up in arms about it, but I'm like, this is why you're thinking that, and that adds a little bit of pressure onto the player. Again, professional, going to make millions of dollars. Happy for him. But for analysts, okay, let's figure out why we're thinking this way. And that's why, because Ryan Jensen has long hair and he's very successful and he plays interior offensive line.
Right. The other picks that did happen, Cody Sorsadel from William & Mary went to the Lions, B.J. Thompson to the Chiefs, Andre Iosovis to the Bengals.
Good pick.
Titus Leo to the Colts, Kennesaw State. I wrote down the Kennesaw State defense. I wrote down Kennesaw State, but I didn't write down his name. The Bears took a Kennesaw State defensive tackle. I don't know his name.
Oh, you stink.
That pick was unexpected, though. I did not know that this kid was going to get drafted.
Travis Bell to the Bears.
Travis Bell. Dow went to the Titans, and then Isaiah Bolden, the one HBCU player from Jackson State, goes to the New England Patriots. I think that all these picks are fine. They're one that stands out the most is the B.J. Thompson one. I thought B.J. Thompson was a total combine snub, and he's going to be a nice rotational player, possibly a nice depth player for the Chiefs. I like that fit as well. Sorsdal.
Excuse me? Okay.
Sorsdal.
There you go.
I didn't think he was going to go that early. That was really unexpected. William & Mary, dude, has some dudes. They got this other kid coming up next, Charlie Grant. He's also pretty good.
Yeah, Baldy was a big Sorsdal guy also, and I hate that I called him Baldy because I don't know him.
Sorsdal, is that it?
Yeah, I guess. I'm not gonna say it again.
Okay.
But the FCS UDFAs, if we're gonna look at those, or at least the notable ones versus the draftees, it looks kind of similar, and that's not us trying to put we could be an NFL scout because we watch the games or follow it, but
maybe
Isaiah Land to Dallas feels good to me.
Yes,
Hunter Lupke to Dallas feels good to me. I think Las Vegas was signing McClendon Curtis at least, or inviting him for the UDFA thing. Why not?
wait, I want to bring this up. So I'm actually really disappointed that Hunter Lipke went undrafted and that goofball from Oklahoma got drafted. Hunter Lipke's a better tight end. He's better or not tight end, fullback. He's a better football player.
Both.
He's going to be, I think he contributes, man, for this
He does.
Cowboys offense.
Easily.
Dude, McClendon Curtis, who I had as a highly ranked kid in my guard class, him going undrafted is ridiculous. This guy is such a good athlete. He moves so freaking well.
That is a total sound. Oversight. Yeah, that's an oversight.
No, he's not technically sound. He's very raw.
I like his hands, man. I like his hands. I like his feet. All right, I like it. Stephen F. Austin's Xavier Gipson to the Jets. They got a big room. They got a pretty good room there in New York. So he could bounce around a little bit if we're being realistic to a less loaded wide receiver room. Hey, Atlanta, maybe take a little call about that. I think he's pretty good. Patrick O'Connell from Montana went to Seattle. So, okay. Corey Reeder Jr., go ahead. Make the team and win a Super Bowl. Go ahead. And then Benny Sapp to Green Bay from UNI, the free safety. Go ahead. Make the teams, man. Make the teams. I think that they could. I think if they, well, I don't know. I don't know what the percentage is there. Probably pretty low, right. But I think they're very good players. Give it your best shot.
Yeah, good FCS representation. Not a historic year like usual, but there were some pretty good guys that were drafted. I did not have Cody Mauch over Tucker Kraft on my bingo sheet, though. I really thought that Tucker Kraft might, especially at the beginning of the season, he was the guy who I kept saying Tucker Kraft's going to go first. All right, Sean, I think that's it for us here talking about the NFL draft. Any final thoughts? Joe DeLeone and Sean Anderson, Sanderson Radio, at Joe DeLeone, Hack City on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Leave a 5-star review if you enjoy the audio version of the show.
My final thoughts, Jordan Jones, Caleb Warren, Ed Lee. You all right, guys? Good luck. Been tracking it, seeing it.
Wait, where did Ed go?
Patriots.
The Patriots.
I just saw it. So hopefully that's confirmed. Oh yeah. Ed Lee invited New England Patriots minicamp. So we'll see. I
think Caleb also got invited. Jordan Jones actually got a UDFA contract, I think.
I would think so.
Maybe I'm misspeaking.
Regardless, rooting for the boys. They're all good dudes.
Drive safe, everybody. But we got to figure out what we're doing when you're here, but drive safe, everybody.
Sure.